Republican lawmakers in Washington state want to, they've proposed a new law. They want to pass a new law that's going to require sports stadiums in Washington state to require people, to allow people, I should say, to be able to bring their concealed firearms into the games. I don't go to a lot of football games, but I have heard that they can be emotional places where people get angry, and having guns might not be the best idea, but they think it's something that we should push for. This is House Bill 1015. It would eliminate the stadium's ability to prohibit persons with a valid concealed pistol license from carrying a concealed pistol in any facility or on any grounds of a facility. Hopefully not on the actual field. That seems like it would be going too far. Maybe next year. It is not currently illegal to carry a firearm into a game under Washington law, but CenturyLink Field as well as Safeco Field and any other stadium are allowed to prohibit folks from bringing certain items, including firearms, into said stadiums. Now, that seems to make sense to us, but right now they're trying to make it so that you can bring something that can protect you, like a firearm, into the stadium. Under the current system, you're not even allowed to bring a bag in, because obviously with a bag, you could hide something really dangerous like a gun. None of it makes any sense.
Well, it does a little bit, actually.
Okay.
So if you follow the money, it all begins to make sense in some weird way. The reason they don't want you to bring any kind of bags that they can't see through is
because
they
have food and stuff, yeah.
No, they basically don't want you to bring beer. Yeah. Because they want to be able to charge you an arm and a leg for beer inside the stadium. That's the main reason.
Wait, you're allowed to drink in these stadiums?
Yes.
Well, that seems like a horrible place to have a gun then.
Of course! Okay. So, I mean, look, we got Dodgers and Giants fans, Raiders and Chiefs fans, an endless supply of fans fighting each other, sometimes nearly to death, with fists alone, let alone if they had weapons, right? Mm-hmm. And so, okay, so the reason they don't want you to bring stuff in is because they want to charge you a lot when you get inside the stadium. That's driven by money. Now, why are they proposing this law? Like, there's like some sort of outbreak of tremendous robberies inside of football stadiums? And boy, I got to protect myself and my family when I'm at a football stadium because you know all the muggings that are going on. I mean, what are they responding to, right? No, the thing is, if you're allowed to bring guns into a stadium and somebody shoots a gun, there's going to be wide-scale panic. You know what that does? It drives up gun sales. So anytime there is a shooting and it's in the news, people worry, and they especially worry that their gun rights are going to get taken away, and they buy more and more guns.
Yeah.
So the one thing that connects these seemingly unconnected stories about the stadiums is, how do we all make more money?
Yeah.
Not, of course, us. They're taking the money from us.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, in a more general sense, I mean, they want you to be able to bring the gun anywhere. They like, you know, descending down that slippery slope of, oh, well, we let you do it here, and then here, and then here, and then gradually. Of course, at a bar, you should be able to be loaded. Of course, on a plane, you should be able to have your gun. Like, they want it to be ubiquitous. And also, those politicians want to show that they are in favor of gun rights. So they can pick whatever BS place to try to expand the rights into, as long as they can hold it up and say, look, I pushed for this, re-elect me. And NRA, I pushed for this, give me money. And because there are only 3 Republican lawmakers in Washington who are pushing for this, I was able to do research into all 3 of them. And of course, 100% ratings from the NRA have raised money from the NRA. One of them, in fact, now some of this is like eyewitness accounts and things like that. But newspapers in Washington reported that he got into a road rage incident and pulled a gun. Now, he didn't point it at the guy, but he was ready with his gun. He also is known for loud, angry outbursts in his office. And reports say that at one point he had to be disarmed by his commander. He formerly served in the military because of some angry thing that he did while he had a gun. And so I would think he would understand the danger of combining firearms with high emotions, which, I mean, we've seen fights break out in stadiums. We've seen people die from one guy was punched to death on the East Coast not too long ago. Having guns there is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the NFL generally implemented a stadium gun ban back in 2013, and Roger Goodell explained it this way. If permitted to carry concealed weapons, they create... this, by the way, is talking about off-duty law enforcement officers. They're not allowed to as well. If permitted to carry concealed weapons, they create deconfliction issues for working law enforcement officers and increase the potential for blue-on-blue response confrontations. Moreover, off-duty law enforcement officers are not included in the on-site law enforcement chain of command or bound by department or agency on-duty policies that can restrict their use of alcohol or subject them to other on-duty behavior standards. And so it's very easy when you simply say we should let our off-duty cops have guns, and people say, well, yeah, they're cops, they should be allowed to have guns. But they don't know what's going on if an incident happens at the stadium because they're not involved in that communication. They don't answer to the chain of command there, and they very likely could be drinking. Simply because they work as cops in some portion of their week doesn't mean that it's safe to have them surrounded by tens of thousands of people while they're drinking and wielding a pistol.
So finally, why do we even have this insanity? For two reasons. One is that the NRA does the same legalized bribery that all the other lobbying groups do, and that's why John pointed out that some of these guys, of course, have gotten money from the NRA. And so 92% of Americans want federal background checks, but we don't have federal background checks. I thought we lived in a democracy. 92% of the country agrees, but we don't have it because the lobbyists don't agree, and in this case, NRA lobbyists. But the second reason is because also the NRA, who represents gun manufacturers, not gun owners, because they very often go against the wishes of gun owners, who also, by the way, in very large majorities, wanted federal background checks. But the NRA is like, no, we don't make money off you guys. We make money off the gun manufacturers. So that's who pays my salary. Get out of the way, right? So they've been doing propaganda for decades now about how great it is to have guns in very dangerous areas. And back in, I'll make up a year, 1974, if you said to the average gun owner in America, do you think we should be allowed to bring, do you think it's a good idea to bring guns into bars and schools and planes and stadiums? They would have said, hell no. Yeah. But the NRA likes you bring guns. One, because you bought an extra gun and you're bringing it everywhere. Two, the more conflicts there are, as I explained before, the more people buy guns because everybody feels so afraid. Yeah. So you don't like that climate of fear? They love that climate of fear. It moves merchandise. Yeah. So after doing all that propaganda, they actually got some portion of gun owners now to think like, yeah, I need to have a gun everywhere. Yeah. My God, if I had a gun and somebody accidentally spilled my beer in a stadium, I get to murder them. Yeah. So what was previously considered insane after decades of propaganda is now being seriously considered in America.
Yeah. This is how the goalpost gets shifted.
Oh, what do you know? You want the same old mainstream media stuff? Hell no! I hear you, brother. That's why we got a whole new show on the Young Turks called Aggressive Progressive. Members get the whole show. Do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.